All right, so we are going. So, all right, so it's the first session, and you guys represent House Mollari. I don't think Nick's going to join us. He wasn't well, so you'll have to persuade the.
No, he's been sick for.
Oh, oh no, that's Nat there, isn't it?
Nah, yeah.
That's Nat
Yes,
down there.
hello.
Yes, hello, Nat.
I was like, who is that with no video?
So
Sneaky.
so there's a couple. So
Yeah.
in the homebrew rules that I've done, if you have a look at the top, I've talked a little bit about the house stats, which are now in the character sheet. So you have six stats, of which one is kind of different to the other five, right? So at the moment, you've got 2 in holdings, and that's because you're a minor house. So that just is how big you are. So if you're a nascent house, you get 1 in holdings. 2 gives you minor. I think I made it 4 for major house, and then 5 for greater houses, and I left 6 untouched because that's really just for the very top of the shelf. So the Carinos and the Harkonnens, basically. The other 5 stats you get to spend points on, right? In alignment with what you want to project, how you want to set up your house. And then what we're going to do after that is we're going to go. You're going to basically council as the leadership council, because you're the leadership council of the house, and you're going to choose the area of focus for the year, which will then set up what adventures we run.
Okay.
So if you guys, so as a simple example, if you guys decide to pursue, let's say information, okay? So let's say you decide you want to grow your strength in information, then maybe what you do is you will do series of adventures about getting assets embedded in House Gordon or House Reefer, who are the 2 houses that currently control the trade out of Ekaz, which is the planet you're trying to get your hands on. But you could also, because it's information, you could also look at experimenting or increasing, finding scientists who have the necessary skills to improve the formula for the Sappho formula that you've got half of. So that's how it would work, right? So you choose it, and then you're not going to spend points to buy up the stats, because that's not how I want them to work. I don't want them to be like, oh, I put 5 experience points in, I'm now going to grow, this. It's a role playing thing, not a or rather it's a strategic thing rather than an experience point thing. So if you then go off and do that for a year, and those adventures go well and you complete them successfully, then your strength will step up by 1 point.
Yeah.
So that's the way it's going to work, right? So the first thing though is you guys have to hold on, I'll go to I'm looking at the wrong sheet. That won't help. So a house minor has 5 points to spend on the 5 stats. You can have 0 in a stat. There's no.
Where's the house? Is it table?
Yeah, it's the table. Purchasing initial strength. If you have a look, it's under house advancement. Oh no, sorry, it's right up the top. What am I saying? It's house stats, and then it's purchasing initial.
Oh no, sorry, I meant the character sheet.
It's in the. Oh, sorry, haven't I shared it to the table? Whoop, sorry, my bad. Okay,
right.
I'll do it right now.
Trying to find it.
Oh no, it is shared.
Maybe I'm an idiot.
If you go to the table tab.
Oh, I'm in table. Yep.
And
then, there's 2 things there.
And there's House Mollari.
Oh, there it is, House Mollari. Sorry. Yeah, I didn't click on the.
So you've got the 5 stats of military, influence, loyalty, commerce, and information. Like I said, you get holdings 2. So if you want to have soldiers that you can throw at people, then you have to put some points in military. If you want to project political force, you have to put some points in influence.
Yeah.
If you want to have highly dependable people that you can call on at a moment's notice, loyalty, information for knowing what the hell's going on everywhere else, and commerce for rare resources, access to rare resources, trade contracts, and other such things. So, based on your domains, which is a hint in the direction, then you need to at least put a point in commerce because you've got the sort of special knowledge about drugs. And you may want to point at least a point in either influence or information because of your espionage, which is your secondary
Makes sense.
domain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I got 5 points. What?
Yeah, so I would suggest we just put a point in everything because that's our 5 points. And then based on our background we've created, I think we're going for commerce is the thing to really improve. Yeah, that we're actually going to try and get our shit together.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the only reason we were so successful at that was because it was a complete surprise, not because our military is any good.
Yeah.
Or our information is any good. It's like wondering, hey, I didn't know you guys were a team. Wait a minute.
Okay, so do you want to put 1 point in every stat? That's the first question.
Well, let's start with that and have a think about it, because it'd be good to have higher, but obviously, flexibility is good, right? I like flexibility.
Yeah, and what that means is basically, if it's near your holdings, you get 3 dice to call an additional asset in. So if you roll, so it does have a mechanical function. So when you want to call upon a temporary asset, like you want to call upon the house's resources to do something, if you're near your holdings, you get to add your holdings and that particular strength together and roll those dice. We want a unit of additional troops to back us up when we do this. No worries, that's military. We're also close to our holdings. Then you can call upon them, right? You're much more likely to be able to call upon them. That does have a price, though, because... So that's one mechanic. The second mechanic is what's called concentrating your forces. You can actually go, we're going to pull troops away from our home world because we want to launch an attack on the other side of the galaxy. We're going to use our holding dice because we're going to pull troops. We're going to actually risk our defenses to launch an offensive strike.
Nice.
If you do that, you weaken your holdings back home. And so you're more vulnerable if someone else comes at you during that period. So I actually want... So I want it to be... So one of the really key points is, and I guess that's what this is all about, is the house is actually a key character in the campaign.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just the players. You're the leaders of a house. The house has a thing in its own right. So I've built all of those rules for that. I built rules. I got really excited.
They're so beautiful. Yeah.
I got a little overexcited.
It's great.
Now, has anyone got it? By the way, one important question, because you will need it before you start adventuring. Has anyone any thoughts on what trait they want for the house?
Oh.
Because it was it was sort of parked last fortnight.
So the traits are in the book.
Oh, and then the actual book? All right, I'll dig that out.
Yeah.
Open at all times. One of the 6, 7 tabs with hundreds of tabs in them.
Yeah, let me see this. Okay, house trait. So is the trait dependent on our domain?
Not really.
That we have?
Not really. No, so the Atreides are known for being, concerned about honourable. They're concerned about their people. The Harkonnens are known for being brutal. It's like a one-word sort of adjective to describe who you are. The reason it matters is when you push, if you want to get the 2 dice bonus to pushing, you're doing something that's aligned to your house trait.
Hate Saxons.
Rob, we're not playing Pendragon, man. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I hear you though. I mean, if we were playing Pendragon, that would be a very valid trait to have.
Yeah. But it's that sort of thing. It's what you're known for, what your house is known for, as far as its belief.
Can I make a
Alright.
suggestion? What about something like
Oh,
Yeah.
it's just
what about something like Sly?
Sly. I was kind of thinking like lucky bastards.
I actually quite like that. That was the other thought I had. I thought lucky was
Arsey.
actually a completely valid trait. It was like we could be
Yeah.
lucky, just fucking lucky. That would be awesome.
I think Lucky is actually. I think Lucky would actually be pretty cool.
Yeah,
Like
I
when we
think
need
it
to
would
pull
suit.
our asses
It
out
would
of the
suit
fire,
my
we try to
character
promise-
so much.
Well, it suits
Luck
your
is
whole
not a
narrative,
superpower.
right? It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, we all know how that ends. Anyway,
yeah. Because I can't
Okay.
remember if we discussed this together or it's just Rob and I having a conversation. We're like, well, how did Nick become heir? Oh, well, obviously the previous heir got assassinated by that other house that hates us who
Lucky.
are what's
Yeah.
what's their faces? House
the
Reaper. So
Yes, that's it.
after the escapade where we got the corporate intelligence, blah blah, stole the secrets, critical research,
Yep.
House Reaper retaliated by assassinating our heir, and so Nick's now just been like, ta-da, you're here.
Nice. Yeah. You wake up one day, hey buddy, what's up? How you going?
it's like, why are you all looking at me that way?
That's right. That's right. What's going on? Why is everyone so
Nothing,
excited?
my liege.
The craziest thing, every single one of your extended family members has died suddenly.
Yeah, that's
It's
right, that's right.
it's that scene from King Ralph where the entire royal family gets electrocuted when they're getting their photo taken, and then Ralph becomes king. Come on, how can I be the only person who remembers when John Candy was king of England?
Oh, is that one? Yeah,
I think it's Rodney King. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's him. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
him. I can actually see the DVD cover.
Yeah, no,
It
it's
wasn't
got-
John Goodman, was it?
Oh, maybe
No.
it was John Goodman.
Oh, I don't-
Oh, now I've got to check. No, I'm not going
I
to.
never
Wait,
saw the movie,
If
but I
only there
remember
was some
seeing the
kind of
cover.
world-spanning network that would tell us.
Yeah, if only
Yeah.
we knew. If only there was some way to
It's the
find
sort
that
of
out.
thing you're
There
meant
was
to
some kind of
keep in its head.
worldwide
No.
interconnected
Oh,
web
you're right. It is John Goodman.
information.
Yeah, well done.
Of
Yeah.
course, because I'm a mentat. I know these things.
No one would argue with you.
Sure, it happened
Hero
20.
2 as well. Holy shit.
He sure it was 20,000 years ago, but I remember. Meant to remember.
I have to say, John Goodman in 1991 looks exactly the same as John Goodman now. I like. How did
I
this
know he's a
person
bit more
behave?
saggy right now. He's got the cheeks wobbling a bit.
Yes.
Yeah, he does.
That's it, that's
He
it.
did that new thing. Anyway, all right. So,
No.
we're not getting.
So,
Yeah,
lucky?
okay. Lucky it is. I've written it in. It's written in.
Yeah, no,
nice.
it's like, hey, I've got good news and bad news. Bad news is your entire family was assassinated. The good news is you weren't assassinated.
Yeah.
I thought you were already dead. It's funny.
As they dug
Under a
them.
birthmark,
As
Hal.
they dug them
Yeah.
out of some gutter in some remote regional town as the 17th cousin twice removed from the throne and said, "You're it, buddy. You're it." Okay. So
So I hope Nick will appreciate that.
Nick will appreciate that. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, by the way, Nat, have you got a name for your character beyond Nat? Asking for a friend.
No, I haven't. Got one yet.
Okay, come up with one, Nat.
Mr. Cube.
Just come up with an Arabic sounding name and you're good, man. All right?
Nice, nice.
Mm.
It doesn't take a lot of.
Is that the
On the
rules?
Jungle
Just
Planet.
Arabic
Arabic
sound?
character
Well,
sounding name.
you don't have to be.
No, that was just Arrakis.
That's just a
Do some
record.
Prussian.
Yeah, do some Prussian. Ooh,
Prussian.
good call. Yeah.
Prussian names.
Yeah, because of the dueling schools in Prussian universities
Very
in
good,
the
very
late
good.
19th century. Yeah, works perfectly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so look up a Prussian name, Nat, and throw it in. It'll be something like Gregor. I'll put money on the table now. Okay,
Regular.
so...
Okay, so the max. Okay.
Yep, go on.
I was about to say the max. I just saw the max trait we can have is 2 anyway, in anything. So it doesn't have
To
be
start
one
with.
everything.
To start with.
Yeah, to start with.
I mean, your journey is to get, so funnily enough, you can become a major house when you get 10 points across the stats.
Oh,
So we're
okay.
halfway there. We're halfway there.
Yeah,
Look
it's
positive.
one way of looking at it.
Oh, and the lands, and you get a Chong contract for the same purpose.
Mm.
So you
Best
now
Vader. Nice.
So
Sorry.
no, that's all right. So you, by the way, and I'll just make this really important point. For standard equipment, unless it's super stupid expensive, you can just go down to the army and grab it. You own half a planet. I want I want to get personal armor and put it on before we go on this adventure. Sure. I go down, I get my I get a suit of armor from the armory and I put it on. I want to take out, a plane or something like that. All the same, right? So the asset rolls are only when you're doing something really major, and your characters are assumed to have access to standard assets when they leave to go and do something.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, like it's not a linear scale, right? Holding 6 is not 3 times more holdings than holding 2.
No,
it just goes astronomically.
Yeah, it's orders of magnitude, right?
Yeah.
The way I sort of had it in my head is every 2 points is almost an order of magnitude.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the second thing is, so at the start of each year of adventures, and I'm going to pull you back a couple of years. So originally I was just going to have you a couple of years before Arrakis and Paul Atreides.
Yes.
I'm going to put you like 15 years before that, so that you've got enough time to actually develop as a house. And also so you don't run crash bang into 3 years and then suddenly the Empire's over and Paul's running the show, or at least some of Paul's followers are running the show, depending on how you interpret that. So then the second thing is, you are... probably what I'll do is I'll just sort of introduce it now properly, right? So it's been over 10,000 years since the defeat of the ancient enemy. So long ago that many have forgotten what is meant by the building of things not in the likeness of humankind. House Mollari has risked all in seeking to leave the protective wing of its parent house and forge its own destiny in the stars. The great houses of the Landsraad gather around the falling leaves of Arrakis, their eyes constantly drawn back to the source of the most precious resource in known space, the spice melange. Your house has seen a different route to power. The planet Ikaz.
Second.
That's right, the second one. Known for its plant life, both motile and sessile, and that'll become important later, provide many rich resources to the Imperium. Great sculptures float in mid-air and are used to adorn the houses of the Imperium, while mentats reach deeper focus through the application of the red-petaled drug. All rely on the products of Ikaz. 2 minor houses, more established but perhaps complacent, control access to the planet. 1, House Reefer, was the target of an especially effective raid recently by forces unknown and suffered the loss of critical IP. They have sworn canly against the apparent perpetrators, you guys, and seek to end the house and all of its rulers. A second house, House Gordon, seeks to continue its mercantile endeavours and not become embroiled in what looks like a conflict that will end in the destruction of 1 or perhaps 2 houses. And so you find yourselves, House Mollari, with much to contemplate as you move forward with your plans. So what you need to decide, and actually I think you've already made the decision, and that works for me, but just to go through it, you can choose one of the 5 options to progress the work of the house, right? So if you went down the military route, it would be about perhaps leading assaults or growing the strength of your military forces. So leading assaults against House Reefer directly and their holdings, and building out the military infrastructure of the house. Influence, you might seek to do something with House Gordon. So perhaps seeking to ally with them, or even decoupling the long-standing alliance between Gordon and Reefer. Loyalty, hate frickin' Reefer. They're slimy, aren't they? Work to grow. Very nice, very nice. Work to grow the confidence and trust of your house soldiers and staff through loyalty. Commerce, establish a forward base on a Cass, enabling direct access to the source of Sappho, and/or seek to build trade relationships with the natives of the planet. And information.
That's my preferred.
Yeah, I think that's everyone's preferred, but I just do want to put them all out there. So
Yeah.
the first thing is you each get to sort of, and the way I wanted to run this is you're all convincing the lord of the house. So you're all advisors. The house is run by a chap who I have a picture of when I pull him up.
Nice.
Show party, and I can. Oh, by the way, and you can hit the minimize button if you still want to see everyone really easily. And if you use the zoom buttons over on the far right hand side, you can make the picture fit. So sorry about it not fitting straight away.
That makes sense.
However, if you do the
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah, it's a bit flaky though, in the sense that I might just put you down there for now. So that's
Yeah.
Lord Jolon Mollari, the current lord of the house. Now he's a reasonably he's a conservative man who finds himself, as luck would have it, in charge of a house that suddenly went from nascent. So he was quite comfortable as the lord of a very minor house under a major house's parentage. You've stumbled across this thing that you've found you have access to, the secret of improving Sappho Productions, or rather improving Sappho's effectiveness. And the air and
Not the secret so much as the idea.
The idea that it was even possible.
On the idea of it.
because you don't actually have the formula. It's a good point. You know it's possible, and now you're going to work out how to make it work.
Yeah, that's right.
So you've got an opportunity to persuade Jolan to do the thing, and the way it works is you all need to caucus amongst yourselves about what you want to do, and you don't have to agree. Like, so there can be factions in the, like, there's no obligation to align.
Yeah.
However, if you don't align, then obviously it's a competition as to who's most persuasive.
Yeah.
So, Lord Jolan is sitting at the table. You're all gathered around the table in the sort of, like any number of things, but like the scene of the hand in Game of Thrones. So there's the person at the end of the table, and you're all the advisors. It's a good mental image to hold, right? Sitting in chairs around, each of you representing the different roles that you fill within the house. And Lord Jolan looks at you all. So, advisors, what shall we do this year? What should we do? I'm of a mind to perhaps sell the secret we have gained. That could give us.
Okay, I look at everyone. I'm just looking shiftily at everyone, like.
And that's where the campaign ended.
That's right.
Sounds like a great idea, boss. Thanks for your help. And then
Great idea.
I'm really glad that you spent all that time writing 10 pages of homebrew rules. It was awesome. Yeah. What would you suggest we do? And he probably looks to the advisor first. He would look to the heir, but the heir is not currently here. So he will look to Afrika.
He's been drinking the night before and is ill.
Yeah, it's not well. The heir is once again not able to be found. Absent. But
Love it.
Afrika. What is your thoughts on what we should do?
Well, my lord, I fear that selling this information that's been so hard won by our house would not get the full benefit. We would not be able to recoup our losses from the price that we would fetch for it, and it would expose us even further to House Reefer, and we would not be able to draw in any further allies, I think. The promise, the thought that we have this knowledge will draw other smaller houses to us to seek our influence and power. So I think that is something we could cultivate. this year if we hold on to this information and perhaps try to further this research ourselves.
You make a strong point about us exposing ourselves to the actions of House Reefer. I should take that on board. And what of you, my Swordmaster Gregor? Because you haven't chosen a name yet. You are officially Gregor.
I have chosen a name.
Oh, what is it?
It's Erkenhield.
Oh.
And by the way, Funk is a legitimate surname. F-U-N-C-K.
Okay. Do you want Erkenhild Funk?
I'll take Erkenhield Funk.
Okay, I've put it in.
Actually, amazing.
Erkenhild. Okay, I guess I deserve that. Erkenhild, my Swordsmaster.
Yes.
What thoughts do you have about what we should do this year?
Well, I can definitely see why you might be inclined at first to want to sell these secrets, get an immediate profit. I feel that might be cutting short. I agree that that this might be undercutting the full worth of these, this benefit that has luckily landed in our laps as such. I think that I agree, and that we should instead work on furthering this secret and perhaps using it to gain influence with other houses, yes.
And what of you, Polonia, my trusted doctor and advisor?
So I sort of look pensive and say I've been looking at the reports of our lucky strike against House Reefer that has put us in this enviable position of Khan Lee. And I feel that we need to focus a lot more resources on infiltrating some of their production facilities, perhaps to, and then I look a little nervous, perhaps to just double check the quality of our formula, right? So I'm hoping that like they still have something that can help us research this properly. Like
Right.
maybe if we've got some more spies in there that could just make sure that we're on the right track. Without obviously the Lord doesn't realize that we don't have shit. He's right, so I don't want to be too obvious about that.
I see what you're saying. So we would place spies inside House Reefer, and then we could use those spies to find out more truth about what we need to know about their actions and their activities.
Just to confirm that that they don't have any other information about this special enhanced what is it? A formula, and also, of course, to help Funk over there in case of impending attacks.
Right. Yes. Right. And what of you, my Lord Marshal?
I would agree with the others in that I think the fact that we have a Canley happening from House Reefer upon us, that is not going to go away anytime soon. And we must get stronger in what we do. This means that we must cultivate what we actually have taken from Reefer's hands, this potential formula, and build from it. I can, well, actually, would you like your first darkness point? Because I could do a calculated prediction. Supporting that path.
I would happily have my first darkness point, so I've added it. Oh, well, I already had one for each of you, but I will gladly take another.
All right, I'm going to do a calculated prediction based on the fact we're going to build upon the Sappho.
Yeah, we all have one, right? We all have one darkness point.
You get
right?
Well, I get one darkness point for all of you, and then your talents give me darkness points when you use them.
Yes, got it.
So we go to insight.
Yep.
No, I won't inspire against anything particular. And away we go. I'm going to push that if I can.
Yeah, of course you
It's a
can.
personal drive.
Oh, there's dice rolling there. Yep, I see it now.
Personal drive.
All right, so add a dice, which you can do by just clicking on a dice. Yep, and then roll the lot
I
again.
love this system. Yeah. Oh, all right.
All right.
Fine. No. Well, it said roll the lot again. It just did one. So there you go. Two.
Okay.
Two successes.
Two
on that
successes.
path.
Okay, so
The data supports it in this way.
don't you get to? Is it that you get to ask me questions?
No. This is let me just find it again.
I could.
Using the facts and figures you've memorized and process the information. If you spend a few minutes meditating and make an insight roll, your first successor asks the GM to state something about a future event. For every 2 additional successes, you may ask one extra statement. So the future event. So the path that we have chosen. What did I want to do with this?
No. So you get.
Actually wanted.
You actually literally just asked me to make a statement.
Okay. Well,
But you can target me at something. So what do you want to know? What would you like the future statement to be about?
the future statement needs to be about if we are to develop the Sappho based on the information gathering approach and using the spy approach, is that a sound thing that he will actually take on board our leader, I suppose. I guess I was aiming on just using it to provide the data to support the theory of what we're proposing.
You could ask if it would be more beneficial in the long run to not sell the plans.
So so the way to think about it is it's like an analytical engine, right? So you just say you want to know, well, what would be the impact of us selling the drug, or what would be the impact of us sending spies to collect information? What would be the impact of us landing on the planet, right? So that's the sort of frame that you've got to put up. Okay,
all right. So I guess the thing is we'll ask what will be the impact of selling the drug, because that's our counter to our and we'll use that.
This is the drug we can produce now, right? Not the drug we're producing.
Sorry, the formula. It's the formula that you're selling. Sorry, good point. Yeah. What would
of course.
Yeah. What would be the impact of selling the formula? So based on all of your deep logical calculations, it would be very bad to sell the formula. It would. Yes. First of all, it would confirm if House Reefer. Okay, so the statement is, it would confirm to the Landsraad your involvement on the raid to House Reefer.
Yep.
True. And it wouldn't solve any of our problems because everyone would still think we had it, even though we don't.
Kind of.
You know what I mean? They'd be like, oh yeah, you just sold us a bunk, you just cheated us. You sold us a shitty formula. Very clever. You can still make it yourself. And like, no, we don't.
So that is the thing that I will be saying to the Duke. I'll be saying to him that by selling this formula, not only will it undermine our opportunity to expand our household, but it would also affirm our involvement with House Reefer, which will give them more leverage to destroy us. They may even get allies from other households, and we would not stand a chance.
Can other households interfere with currently? I can't remember.
I
feel like they don't.
Not formally.
Not directly, obviously.
Not directly. So the whole point of Canley is it's limited aggression, right? Well, unrestrained aggression within the context of two parties, but it's not meant to spill out.
In the scope,
However, of course, everyone cheats. Only an idiot wouldn't cheat. And we all know what happens to the Atreides, and they don't cheat. So, everyone cheats. So it doesn't do your house any favours to suddenly find themselves firmly convicted well, to find that other houses now know that they did launch the raid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, uh, so I hear two options before us then from that conversation. One is we can send we can try and get some of our spies into House Reefer and seek to do further analysis on what House Reefer is doing, I think. And the second one is that we can seek to make use of the formula and, sort of somehow grow our commercial sort of holdings. Are those not the two? Are those the two, piece of suggestions the from the council that I had before me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, the question, so in which case, which of the two is the better option? And I ask the sort of the Polonia and perhaps hold on, I'll get names up. And Africa speak to that. So perhaps Africa, you made a strident call for us basically furthering our commercial opportunity and developing our options. What would be the fundamental? What would be the benefit of that for us as a house? What do you think would be the fundamental benefit?
Well, my lord, from wealth grows all things. Once we have established a good financial basis behind us, then we can look to how else we can grow our house in the future using these new resources we have solidified by expanding our commercial enterprises this year.
Now, who on the council is supportive of the idea of going hard on the commercial option? So
I think it's too risky.
Polonia is not a fan. What about Cerise?
Well, Cerise understands the value of gathering intelligence and information that you can then act upon. And she is pretty much aligned with gathering as much information and data to process. So she would
lean on the Mentat. I think.
she leans on the spies in the Reefer household.
Okay. Polonia, do you wish to speak to your thoughts on what we should do?
Well, I absolutely agree with Africa that we should be building our mercantile and influence and wealth. But I am concerned that given the current scenario and the current threat to the house, that unless we are prepared with sufficient intelligence of movements of our enemies and of the quality of our production, that would not be a success all on its own. Like, we need to have the proper foundations. It may take a little longer to get those, but then once we have the foundations, we can build our wealth. That's my thought. So I agree with the plan. I just don't think it should be this year.
And what of you, Erkenheld, my swordsmaster?
Want to kill.
Swordsmaster Funk? Swordsmaster Funk, what do you...
He's in a funk.
Swordsmaster Funk, what do you suggest, sir?
It is an interesting point that everyone has raised here, of course. I do think that it would do us well to monitor our enemies closely, perhaps as was it Polonia that suggested, as Polonia suggested, that we monitor our enemies and perhaps look further into their own development of the formula.
I mean, I'm the spy master. I would say that.
Yeah.
While I do, of
We
course,
need
see
more
that in the
spies.
commercial interests, I think that the movements of our enemies should be our top priority currently. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So my fear is that trying to insert agents into House Reefer at this time may be a task beyond what is possible. House Reefer will be on the very highest alert. Look, they will be expecting us to do that, and we may waste assets trying to insert our people into the household at this time because they will be so on edge and so watchful for that.
Mm.
That is also true.
Mm.
That's a good point.
Does that argument does that suggestion influence any of the rest of my council?
No, I just think we need to take that into consideration.
It is a good point.
It
I'm basically
What
divided
might-
between the two.
I mean, how do we split
What-
this? You know,
might be possible is if we were to try to insert agents into one of the smaller houses
Oh, the
underneath
periphery.
House Reefer, that may be easier for us to do and just have them to watch over the movements
that's a
of
good
House
idea,
Reefer
actually.
while
Yeah.
but then we concentrate more on developing ourselves while we do that. And then perhaps in a little while, when tensions have perhaps cooled a little, we could try again to get our agents into House Reefer.
I think that's a very good idea, actually. Build the network around the threat, not inside the threat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried that this is a compromise that we may regret, but if I'm to read the voice of my council, it is that we should follow the commercial route, but we should place a watch, some form of watch on the moon that circles the Cass, which has both House Gordon and House Reefer operating upon it, so that we can monitor their movements.
Absolutely.
Yes, I agree.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I am persuaded by your. Are you all in accordance with that as your suggested strategy?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes.
Agreed.
All right. Well, my lady Africa, I believe this is your plan, and he looks at you directly at that point.
We're lucky. It'll be fine.
Yeah, we're so
right.
lucky.
The house is lucky. We'll be fine.
We're lucky.
We're lucky. Yeah. The lucky house, House Mollari, the lucky in brackets. We all know that Mollari doesn't end up being that lucky. But anyway, all right. Just remember that. It's not so good for him.
Via comes out okay.
Oh, Via comes out like a boss. Come on. Veer's the most successful character, possibly the most successful character in Babylon 5.
Absolutely.
Certainly rises from the lowest station to the highest station.
Indeed.
Of all of the Babylon 5 characters, he's the one that, starts at the bottom, gets to the top pretty quickly. In that case, I am convinced. What will be your first action? Will you seek to travel to the planet Akas and understand it better, or will you seek to place spies upon the moon?
I vote spies.
I agree. We must set up our watch immediately. We need to have that flow of information coming in so that we have forewarning of any possible attacks or moves against us, and then proceed
Yeah, it'll be like a
Down to the planet.
lower quality asset because it's not
Yeah.
in there, but it'll be something like that. Seems reasonable.
Perhaps. Okay. Well, excellent. I will trust you to get on with it and make that all happen while I go back to doing whatever it was I was doing before this meeting, which is mostly relaxing.
The stick to
Yeah, that's right.
Crossword.
And when you see
Sudoku.
that's right, he goes back to his Sudoku plan. And when you see Timov, again, remind him that these councils are important, and as the heir to the house, it's important that he treats them as importantly as the rest of you, no doubt, do. Perhaps one of you, Polonia, perhaps you could talk to Timov about this.
Sure. I'll talk.
Or actually, it's probably Erkenheld, because you're the
I'll
sort
go
of
with Erkenhild.
yeah, because you're the swords master. You're meant to be bringing discipline to the heir and training them in all the sort of martial arts and those sort of things. So
Yeah.
So Erkenheld, when you next train with Timov, perhaps you can remind him of the importance of his attendance at these council meetings. We cannot. He must learn the business of the house. He cannot live in his
That's right.
previous
Brand.
or she. No, it's a he, isn't it, Timov? He can't live, continuing that life of licentiousness and larceny and a lack of focus that he's previously lived. Anyway, and at that point, we will move on from our good mate, Jolan. Okay, so
Stand as he leaves. Yeah.
all right. So,
Nice.
do you want to do some research on how you might go about doing this thing that you've decided you're going to do?
Yes. That's a good idea.
So,
Who's the mercantile expert among us? Who's the economist?
who
But
is?
I'm just the advisor. I just think that's a great idea. You sort it out. Thanks, Africa.
Bloody salespeople. Then they hand it over to
Yeah, I know.
delivery.
I'm just the front lady.
So you.
I've done the sales pitch. I'm moving to the next job.
So you can use some of your advanced. Okay, so what do you want to do some research, guys? Do you want to do some sort of digital research? Do you want to get the Mentat to recall everything he can remember about ECAS or about how the Sappho trade works? Like, do you want to strategize how you might infiltrate spies into, some
yeah.
process?
So the question is there an ideal place you want to place your spies? And is there an opportunity to place them there?
Yeah. So, could I do a culture roll to know about House Reefer and who their minor houses are related
Yep.
to them, or their holdings and that kind of stuff?
Absolutely. Yep, that would be a completely valid use of culture.
All right. So I think I just do that.
And you get no successes.
No successes. So we're going to push that.
I love it.
Oh, the darkest points are flowing.
It's-
Yeah. Now, how did we do that? How did we do the pushing again?
Okay.
Just tell them. Add one.
Well, are you calling on a trait? Are you calling on your personal trait?
My personal trait. Yes.
So you can add one dice. So what you can do is just click on the 1d6 above. Or you can go to your character sheet, because I've actually set it up on your character sheet. If you scroll down your character sheet, there's determination, and you've got personal drive, and you've got house trait.
Yeah.
And if you click on the personal drive, it'll just add one more dice to the pool, and then you can re-roll the whole lot.
Okay, so clear and...
So you'll have to... Yep.
Oh, I have to do it again. Sorry. Okay,
No, that's
culture.
right. Plus personal drive.
And personal drive.
Yep.
Roll. Come
Pretty
on.
exciting watching it, yeah.
Okay.
One.
One. So House Reefer is pretty paranoid. Possibly recently upgraded in their paranoia.
I don't know, maybe.
So you don't think you're going to be able to, like, as you expected, it was always going to be difficult to insert spies directly into House Reefer. They're actually, but they do share the planet with House Gordon, and House Gordon. So House Reefer does a lot of the industrial side of the game. So they process the drug to a large extent. They've got all of that nutted out. House Gordon seems to be the sort of the envoy culture-y arm. So they go down to the planet, they talk to the natives, they collect the drug, they bring it back up, and they have some of the trade contracts that are then shared with House Reefer. I mean, both do all of the things. It's not that they don't like. So it's not like one house has given up everything and the other house does everything in that space. But there's definitely a strength and a weakness to the game, and both houses play that. So you think House Gordon might be a little bit more vulnerable to the sort of infiltration you want to do, and since you're not in Canley with them,
That's a bonus.
alert.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of, so I'm thinking from a medical training perspective, is there any kind of health risks or physical risks associated with the gathering of materials or the production of this?
You mean gathering materials from a CAS?
Yeah.
I just have to go and put
of,
Jasper to bed. I'll be back in a sec.
No
Yeah,
worries.
Because that's an angle that we can sort of go to where the people are who are being injured and kind of connect with them that way, and then slowly infiltrate.
Okay,
through
so
the
a CAS
pipeline.
is deadly,
Yeah, that helps.
right? Like, it's fundamentally deadly. So, okay. So, the environment. Ikaz is a jungle planet with a thriving and voracious ecosystem of motile and sessile plant life.
Oh yes, that's right.
In addition, a thriving fungal forest covers large portions of the southern hemisphere of the planet. The planet itself is deadly in so many ways that it has defied the ability of pre-imperial planetologists to catalogue them all. Fungal infection, attacks by the infamous leeches of Akas, and the ever-present risk of attack by the human tribes people who populate the planet means the planet is considered a death trap for those who do not invest considerable effort in research and negotiation with the local population. As befriends such a planet, the equator is so hot and humid that it is beyond the ability of humans to survive for long periods of time, as humans' natural cooling abilities break down at the equator.
Yeah. So the answer is yes.
Yeah. So deadly.
Double plus, yes.
Double plus.
Okay, good. So there should be a steady stream of injured workers
Yeah.
who we could like if you have an injured worker who's cranky because they have they've lost a leg or whatever, and someone was there to support them, and not only financially to recover from the injury, but also to allow them to avenge themselves a little on their uncaring employees, we've got a nice avenue of infiltration opportunities.
Yep. So you would need to get down to the planet to sort of inject yourself into that process.
Sure. Well, I mean, I could get some. I could do that. Sure.
And since
so
that
even-
aligns with the commercial activity, because you want to get to the planet anyway.
Anyway,
Correct.
yeah, cool. So I'll go to the planet, and I'll when we plan our trip out, I'll come along and start to make myself known in the hospitals as a SIP doctor. That's what I do.
Yep.
And if there are people who I need to, kind of come when they get back to work, for the people that we need them to report on, come to some arrangement.
Perfect. All right. So that's does anyone want to do any research on a CAS proper?
I will. One of my assets is actually a map of a CAS that I've been building up with various bits of data over the years. It's
True.
all-
Yes, you do have that.
There was a very good reason for me to get that, knowing that we would go onto a CAS at some point.
I'm pleased to hear it.
I'll actually read out what I've described the map as. So it's the maps in the Dune are considered secret information. In fact, the information is scarce around the place, and my character has been slowly putting together a map So the map is a highly prized integration of various data sources: geographic, geological, demographic, hydrographic, atmospheric, flora and fauna distribution, modern sites and historical sites, etc. Cerise has sourced the original map through an information black market and has been adding all manner of data as she finds it. Cerise holds the map in her head but has provided information parts for House Mollari for its benefit. So its three key words are actually secret information, planetary and reliable. So what effectively I'm doing is drawing upon that data and any other that I can find to give us a better understanding of
Okay. So do you have... Oh, I don't know what's causing that. Oh, okay. Do you have a science skill?
No, I don't. I have technology.
Okay, well, we can make it technology for the sake of this because we got rid of data gin. So, or it can be an insight roll, actually. You can choose insight.
Oh, yeah, technology. There you go. Oh, shit, I don't have either of those things.
Well, let's see. So insights, they're exactly the same. Okay, we'll just do an insight roll.
Yep.
And away we go. Ka-ching! 2 successes.
Nice.
It's like going to the pokies. It's great.
No, go to sleep.
Are you sure you need him to go to sleep, Jess? Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to steal the audio book.
Never worked with my children.
Don't make me get the tranquilizer gun, Jasper.
I've already lost my... No, I just cranked at him because he wasn't in his pajamas or ready for bed.
It's time.
Totally legit.
All right. So, okay. So
the question is,
yep.
Yeah, what did we want to know from this? Did we want to know about the populations down there? Did we want to know about a safe site?
I would like to know about a safe site where I can take my ornithopter down to the planet, land, we can set up our base and have that kind of our base of operations, but close enough to make contact with local tribes and start kind of developing our base down there.
Okay, so the humans basically only inhabit the northern hemisphere. The fungal forests in the southern hemisphere pretty much make the planet, that portion of the planet, uninhabitable. Your safest place to land is either on the top of the very tallest mountains, and there are mountains which shoot so high that there's actually, it's above the tree line, as in above the what's the line called, the death line. So you can park yourself at a point where plants can't establish
on
life.
mountains. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called.
The jungle itself is just deadly. Like non-jungle folk don't go to the jungle because that never ends well. People have used atomics to try and clear the jungle to create a space, and it didn't work. There are radioactive jungle portions of the jungle, but the jungle is still a jungle. The next safest bet is to actually land on the ocean. So there is an ocean. It is green because it's full of plant life. But you can float on the ocean, and broadly, that's sort of safe.
Pretty good, yeah.
So the best two locations are find a parking spot on the top of a very tall mountain. But then, of course, you're pretty visible because you're sitting on top of a very tall mountain. Or find a location in the water or on top of the water.
Yep. Okay.
Or burn your way into the jungle and try and clear a zone around the jungle, but that hasn't proven to be successful, and there's been 10,000 years of attempts. Or
go underground. So cave system, that sort of thing, perhaps.
Oh yeah. But I mean, you'd have to find that through the jungle, surely.
Or in the...
Well, that's why I've been putting all this data together on this map.
Yeah, surely there's got to be like a mountainside cave entrance
With a flat landing platform, perfectly flat.
Perfectly flat.
Beautiful.
Okay. That sounds.
What?
Or we
Possibly
could
wrong.
create the perfectly flat landing.
That sounds like the sort of thing that requires someone to do a infiltration roll.
Uh-huh.
Why
I
not?
can do that if you want, but I suspect others are probably better.
Well,
do
I
I-
can assist you with it. I've got one infiltration.
I've got one infiltration.
I have 2 infiltration.
Oh, good, because you're a
I-
spy master, aren't you?
No.
I am. What is it? What do I add to it though? Do I add empathy or wits?
Agility it is.
Agility.
Yeah.
Oh, it tells me. It tells me.
Yeah, I've written it at the
Agility,
bottom,
that's
and
it.
you
Oh,
don't have to
agility
add
is good.
anything. You can just click on it, and it just
Automatic.
it's already
Yeah,
added
no.
in.
Yeah.
All good. All good. Okay, let me roll my roll. Roll 6 sixes. That's not. There's no 6s.
Now, do you want to
Oh.
push? And by the way, you
Of
can
course, I.
you can use the house
course I
straight lucky, which means
To
you
what?
can
To
push,
push?
which means you can add 2
Yeah.
dice as
Yeah.
opposed to 1.
I
when you
am
push.
so doing that. Okay, I'm pushing. So I'll 2 dice, and
Yep.
you get a darkness point, right?
I do.
So I
1,
add 2 dice,
2.
and I re-roll the lot. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, it's just rolling those.
Yeah, that's what it did to me.
Yeah, but I can re-roll the other ones, even though they gave me
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
I'll re-roll. Oh fuck! I just deleted one.
Just click on the D6 above. Just click.
Yeah, I clicked on the D6 and it
All right.
deleted it instead of the. Yeah, okay, right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Please, please. Oh my god, this is the worst. All right,
I'm not
nothing.
feeling lucky.
I was feeling lucky, but it did not happen.
Okay, no. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, the geology of the planet does not seem to have included the
Caves.
the caves in the perfect place on the
Yeah.
side
Well,
of the
yeah.
mountain.
It's. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a long shot, right?
Cool.
All right. Can I use something like science to pick out a space where we could look at building a. I'm basically thinking like an offshore oil rig
I love it.
Yep.
thing.
Excellent.
So you want to establish a presence on the planet using some sort of giant rig that you can then move to and from.
Yeah, yeah.
But do you want it to be camouflaged? Do you want it to be hidden initially?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, we might not actually, like, the first time we go to the planet, we'll just go there and investigate that spot.
But that's what you're thinking.
But that's the long-term goal. We need
Yep.
an offshore rig.
Okay. All right. Well, you can do that. So your custom ornithopter, because ornithopters, by the way, can't do space travel. They're like planetary only. But I'm going to assume you've got a custom one with like heavily built thrusters, because you do have a custom one. It's your special ornithopter.
Yeah.
So it's got
It was
it's swing wing. The wings fold away and it turns into a rocket, and then they flip out when you're in atmosphere, and then they hover around.
yeah. Because I
Okay.
used it for my smuggling runs when I was
Yeah.
young and badly behaved.
So most of the time, people thought you just had an
You're old and badly
ornithopter,
behaved.
and you just went like this around, and then
Yeah,
every
yeah.
now and then the wings went like that, and then you jetted away at 1,000 kilometers per hour and went, no, that's what I do when I need to get away from people, as opposed to that.
Yeah.
I hope you like
It's
mine.
really, I love it. It's
Yep.
beautiful.
It is
Okay.
beautiful. All
All right, let's try this.
All right. So, are you going? Oh,
I got a success.
I gotta pop you out. Oh, was that your science skill?
That's my science skill.
I was gonna say, I hope you're a better pilot than that.
No, that's my science roll.
The party's screwed if that's your best. Hey, our pilot's got 4 dice.
Oh, there it is. Got it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Trying to find
All
out
right.
the other thing.
Yeah.
So,
So that was to find a good location
okay.
from.
So, like I said,
Okay.
you can find a sort of, because you don't want to be too close to the jungle. Like the one thing you've read, jungle bad, right? Everything about the jungle bad. By the way, the upper atmosphere is not necessarily safe. Just to be clear, there are large
Of course.
gas.
Sky trees.
Yeah, there are large gas floating things
Oh god.
that
Yeah, fungal
float
sacks.
around and and harvest things with their tentacles that dangle underneath them.
Great. That's what we want.
Yeah,
Yep.
We
yeah.
want to be
Perfect.
harvested with tentacles.
Yeah. So,
The planet is fucked.
if it wasn't that it produced something really valuable, no one would go there.
I wouldn't even waste the bombs to bomb.
Just call it natural defenses.
That's right. Yep. If we could work out how to make that work. So the planet is. So you're going to go down to the planet. You've found a location. You've looked at the maps that Cerise's been collecting. You've found a location near an island that may be one of the few islands that is not, in effect, colonized by large amounts of plant life. But it gives you a place to sort of land near that's safe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ish.
Okay.
Safe-ish.
Now you have
Nice.
the option, and I'm cool with what you decide. You don't all have to go on the adventure. So you can choose who's going to go on the adventure, right? Like, it doesn't make sense that every person in the council has to go on every adventure.
Yeah,
It's a little
sure,
bit like the away team.
Yeah, I was about to say it's. Oh fuck! I'm wearing a red shirt. This is not good.
If your character doesn't go, then obviously you take the part of another person who is going. So you might send soldiers, you might send explorers, you might send a guide who knows how to talk to the natives, you might send any number of people.
Yeah, okay, that's not a bad idea.
And you can sort of play one of those, and we can sort of construct that as we go. And we can just agree what the key stats are to start with, and then if there's a necessity to go beyond that, then there's a necessity to go beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
However, the XP will still accrue to your main character, because I don't want that to kind of fall out of whack where, the Swords Master goes on every adventure because he's basically your combat guy, and everyone else has like got half the experience. So we won't do that.
Yeah.
So
No, we're good. I need to be in the medical stuff, and we're known, right? Like our house isn't like it's not going to be a surprise. Obviously, that's what we do,
yeah, that is true.
right?
Yeah.
So you can all just go on the first adventure because you want to get your eyes on the lay of the land, of course. That's
I
not an
think that's
unreasonable thing. But for future reference, you can. It's a bit more true play.
As long as we die, it won't be a problem, and we're lucky. It's going to be fine.
That's right. Look at those dice rolls that you've had so far.
Well, lucky.
Look at my darkness points. Okay, so are you going to go to the planet?
I am,
Yes.
yes. I'm flying the plane.
All right.
Yep, I will.
Yep.
I'm the recording apparatus.
You are.
Yeah, for sure. I think that as the very first step in our future role here, it makes sense for us all to be.
There you go. So that's what you can see. Hopefully you can see it.
Yep, I see it. That's the big planet. Is that out of the
Big
book?
planet, all right.
No,
It looks like algae.
it's from somewhere else. It's actually from Star Wars. It's Kishwak or whatever it's called. The
There you
Wookiee
go.
planet.
Chic.
Oh, the Wookiee world.
Chic.
Oh, the Wookiee planet. Yeah, got it.
Yeah, it's Wookiee World.
Welcome to Wookiee world.
Yeah.
Can't believe that none of you respect Kashyyyk enough to know its name. It's very disappointing.
Well, we're all disappointed that you aren't joining in on our Deep Love of Babylon 5, but we're all letting that go too.
Yeah,
so.
man. Jesus.
It's old, man. It's old.
It's really Thomas's. Really
It
Thomas's
cuts us.
fault.
It cuts us.
It is pretty old, and the first season is pretty much unwatchable. But after the
Hey,
first
Oh, the
season,
graphics are amazing in the
Bye.
first season.
Hey, they've just remember they've just remastered it, high def and stuff. So.
yeah, I might watch it actually. I'd be quite keen to see what.
Oh,
it
yeah,
looks
yeah.
like.
I mean, I watched it
Yeah.
in low. I watched it in low thing. I bought it all on Apple iTunes, but I've just downloaded
Oh.
the proper high def remaster thing.
I
It's
might-
like
I might get it.
180 gig or some shit.
Whoa.
All right.
All right, so that's the planet you're heading towards. That's the moon, obviously, over there in the distance.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep, I like it.
So you're going to land away from the moon, because obviously that's where House Reefer has all of its monitoring stations. And then the rotation of the planet, rotation of the moon will bring them back into sight. But your plan is to be well hidden. Is there any
So is the moon stationary in orbit? So it's geostationary above the planet, is it?
No, it orbits. But that's what I'm saying. You'll
Okay.
land on the opposite side, but then you'll swing into
Right.
view.
Okay.
So hopefully
Yeah.
by then you'll be well hidden. Is there any standard equipment you would like to bring? Because as per my original point, if it's standard equipment, you can just have it. If you want to wear armor, if you want to take a shield, because remember, there are no sandworms on this planet, so you can wear a shield if you want.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to have a shield.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my saber and a pistol of some kind.
Okay.
Like maybe our gun shields, which I might take.
Gun shield, yes.
Yeah, we've got gun shields. Remember? It's a whole. It's
Yeah, no, I remember.
It's thing.
it's my thing.
I'm hoping out. Oh, we've got a doctor, don't we? So we're good. I don't need to bring a first aid kit.
Nope.
Yeah. But we'll rely entirely on the doctor to provide medical stuff, and
that's
he'll
what
be
I
the
do.
first one to go.
That's right.
We're all screwed.
Yeah, I'm just getting medical equipment, and I'm taking as much, like, kind of whatever appropriate sort of not bribery assets, but like cash assets required to.
Wow, you don't trust the doctor?
I'm
Kind of rude.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am a freaking Imperial condition doctor. I couldn't hurt you for
All
long.
right.
I'm
I'm taking a thermal suit, whatever it is.
Oh, okay.
Because well.
So you're taking the suit that lets you operate in the
It's effectively a still suit, is what they modelled it on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that won't be a
thing.
problem in an overheated tropical environment. Brilliant.
It keeps you stable at whatever temperature you want,
Yeah.
and provides you with water.
Yep. Yep. It's
So
quite
I'm gearing
useful
up for that. We're
because-
going to a death world.
That's actually a very good point. You don't want to drink the water
Oh,
because
so the thermostatic suit is what you're wearing.
That's the one.
Yeah.
This suit monitors and chemically corrects the wearer's body temperature.
Yeah.
No extra energy source is required. It works between plus 70 and minus 80 degrees Celsius. It collects you. Yeah, it's a still suit, so it does the whole purifying of things.
that's pretty good.
The big thing is the statement. It chemically corrects your body temperature. So remember what I said about the equator. It's unlivable for a person who's outside of one of these suits.
Yeah.
You will
Yeah,
just
of course, that makes
overheat
perfect
and die.
All right.
Yep.
So we better all wear one of those.
Yeah.
I'm taking a respirator, and I'm taking an accelerator rifle and some
Okay.
rations.
Yep.
Alright.
You're absolutely right. I will also get a thermo suit and a bloody respirator. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I think a thermo suit for everyone would be a good idea.
Thermosuits, respirators, shields. I'm also going to bring an
Gun
emergency
shields. Mhm.
an emergency transmitter, so that if we get really in trouble, we can call for military backup to come and collect us.
Okay. Good investment. Good upfront investment. I like
You
it.
get a thermo suit, and you get a thermo suit.
Alright.
Uh, yeah.
Now, the thermostatic suits are not particularly armoured.
No,
Yeah, figured.
you wear it underneath everything else.
Yeah.
So I actually have my my normal protective clothing.
Okay. So that's 3 points of armour.
Yeah. Plus I carry my staff with the inbuilt shield.
Yep. Which is a half shield,
So-
isn't it?
Yeah, and I've made it a lower powered half shield.
Oh, okay.
So
then.
it's,
You don't have to.
Well, I've made it. Okay, it'll be 6 points then.
Yeah, but that's only for melee. If you're facing towards your opponent and they... Oh, is anyone bringing a laser?
Yeah.
Did someone say they're
Laser-
getting an accelerator rifle?
What about a laser pointer?
Yeah, me. Yeah. No, I'm not bringing a laser.
Because I was going to say, if you take a laser, it's basically use the thermal stats from the Coriolis game. So there's a thermal gun, there's a thermal
the
cricket,
pistol.
thermal pistol, and I think a thermal carbine as well as a thermal rifle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just use the thermal stats for a laser, that'll be fine. But if any of you bring a laser, please notify me of your intent to bring a laser, so that I'm aware. And please notify me if you choose to use it in combat. I'd also like to be aware of that.
Mm.
Another area cleared by atomics temporarily.
That's right. So, is anyone carrying a laser weapon of any kind?
Hell no.
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 I am a saber and a gun. A gun.
Yes,
A pistol
regular
of some
guns will
kind.
do fine.
Yeah, well, accelerator rifles and accelerator pistols.
Accelerator rifle or carbine, yeah.
Yeah, are the standard. Or you can take a pistol. You can take an accelerator pistol. That's fine.
Yeah, pistol.
Okay.
Accelerator
Oh, yeah,
pistol.
carbine is standard.
All right. So, boot yourselves up with your equipment. Natty's carrying his gun shields.
Mm-hmm.
Are you also carrying a shield?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. And you've all got the thermostatic suits. Is anyone wearing protective clothing other than Cerise?
No.
Okay.
There's a deadly silence.
Hit the
there.
sides. It's been up.
We're like,
Crickets.
All right.
Bad cricket.
Right, I've just got a
So-
personal shield. That's
No, that's
what
all
I'm
good.
using.
All right. So the first thing you're going to have to do is, deploy yourselves in a CAS. Now, you actually need to be bought by Highliner. So the guild
Mhm.
fly everyone everywhere. The good news is the guild doesn't really care. It's completely, well, as far as you're aware, it's completely apolitical. And so the Highliner will just drop you and 1,000 other things off in the system. That's basically how it works.
let's just kick us off in low orbit.
Yeah.
So you hire a navigator, a guild ship, or a berth on a guild ship, rather, is probably the right way to call it, because they carry often thousands of ships inside the Highliners.
Yeah.
Are you just taking your custom ornithopter, and is that the plan?
I think
That's
so.
a good idea.
It's like a troop carrier, so it fits all of us.
Yep.
But it's very quiet and still kind of.
How many people does it actually fit?
It doesn't say
Four? It should
specifically.
be something like four.
It
It's not-
says a
Oh.
squad. We
Yeah.
qualify
Oh,
as a
is it?
squad.
About
Yeah, yeah.
5 or 6.
Yeah, just to
Yeah.
be clear, in Dune the novel, when they go to the harvester that's getting eaten by the sandworm, they take over 20 people off in their ornithopter.
Okay,
Right.
cool. That's heaps. That's a squad,
Like,
yeah.
They're
that makes sense.
big. They're actually much bigger than...
Yeah.
So they're not like a 4-person custom. I mean, yours can be smaller.
Sure.
It can be stealth or whatever you want to do.
Well, yeah. So when I looked at it in the Dune rules, the lowest one was the smallest one was like personal one,
Yep.
and then the next size up was the troop transport.
Yeah.
And it could carry a squad, but it was still very discreet and quiet.
Yep.
Because I needed to be able to transport goods
Yep.
and other things.
So I guess what I'm getting to is, do you want to take a security detail with us? What kind of presence do you want to make?
Yeah.
I would suggest we stay low key, but it can't hurt to take 1 or 2 security people. with
We'll
us.
take 2 of my security with us.
Yeah.
So are you
because
using your guild? Are you using your house asset, Rob?
yes.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I'm going to take 2 along with us, and their main thing is actually they'll probably just stay with the copter
Yep.
if need be.
Yep.
Just guarding it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So let's say like the ornithopter can take up to 20 people if we're not carrying any cargo.
Cool.
All right. So you drop out of the Highliner, and the Highliner is this big, long, round cylinder. It has no engines because that's not how it moves. And it will take you there in the blink of an eye. You actually don't... One of the fun things about instantaneous travel in real space is you actually don't know when you're arriving. Anyway,
Cool.
because it could be anything. You have to negotiate, of course, with these guys when they pop up. You've got to love them.
Fucking freak weirdos. That's a great movie. My question is, when's the return flight? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
you've got to
if we have
wait
to
for
bail,
another
how the hell do we get
Yeah,
out?
you've got to hide
Yeah.
until another highliner rocks up.
Right.
We'll be.
So we better bring supplies for a couple of weeks.
yeah,
Yeah,
might be wise. I mean, a CAS is a very big part of the trade system, though. Like,
yeah,
it's
there'll
not.
be a lot.
There's a lot of traffic in and out of a CAS by the guild because
Yeah.
there's a lot of traffic. There's a lot of goods moving off a CAS and being taken elsewhere. Because it's not just Sappho. There's about 7 or 8 key plant-based products that come off the planet.
Fogwood.
Yeah, fogwood's the one I was thinking of. It's like the light sculpting wood that you can use, right?
Shape
So-
of your mind. That's right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So there's a bunch of those sorts of things coming off the planet. So you arrive in the sort of solar system of Beta Centauri, which is where Acas is found. It's in Beta Centauri, not Alpha, the second star in the binary stars. The guild releases all of you and about 20 other things, move away from the Highliner. Can I get a... So you're piloting, I'm assuming, Africa, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so who is doing the necessaries on hiding who they, masking the ship and doing all of that sort of stuff? So that would be, just so it's clear...
Once we've landed.
No, you're in space, right? So you want to evade...
We have to approach
detection and do all of that. So you have to plot a course onto the planet.
Sounds like an MTAT work.
It certainly does. That's a reasonable opinion to hold. Mentat, do you want to plot the best possible course to land on the planet?
I don't
what would you
want
like,
to,
a
but-
technology role or a
I think
insight
it's,
role?
I think it's going to be insight, actually. Yep.
Alrighty, here we go. Land right on top of their base.
Oh, you got a
6.
success. All right, so you're able to evade detection, and you're basically coming down into the planetary atmosphere, having, sort of looked like garbage that's being dumped from the back of the Highliner.
There's bounty hunters in that garbage.
There's bounty hunters. There's always bounty hunters in that garbage. The Highliner's coming in. The planet is this incredible green presence in front of you. Like, everything is green. Like, the entire planet has one color. Right? Like, that's the one color you have, is green in your eyes. Everything is green. There's various flavors of green. Even the oceans are green. There's no blue. There's cloud cover, yes, but even the southern hemisphere of the planet is still a sort of muddy green because of all the fungi that's growing down there. But in the northern hemisphere, it's a giant forest. It's just one contiguous forest surrounding open waters. The waters themselves are covered in green. You're arrowing down through the atmosphere. Can I get a piloting roll from you, Africa, as you arrow through the heavy, through the initial break into the upper atmosphere from space?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just trying to find it. Right, roll.
Wow.
Oh, for God's sake.
You guys are rolling so badly tonight. It's unbelievable. I'm not sure that I think one of you has gotten a success without needing to push.
Freaking hell. Okay. I am pushing with my... Oh, wait, actually, I'm just going to push, first of all.
Okay.
So, I don't need to add a dice just to push, do I?
You can always add a dice if you've got the trait. The whole point is if you've got the trait, you can add the dice. It comes at no cost.
Okay.
One thing I haven't done, actually, is everyone's got one story point. So
Okay.
I'll mention that because once per sort of... I'm not sure if it's going to be session or if it's going to be scenario. It probably will be scenario. And it's not once, sorry. you can, if you gain additional story points, which you can do through the play, but you can get an automatic critical success on one skill check. That's your sort of superhuman,
Yeah.
sort of ability coming to the fore.
No, I'm just gonna do my normal push, and we'll see how that goes. Because I can use my talent to push again if I need to.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Yep.
Double push.
Plus the
Okay.
darkness points.
Yeah. So I'm going to do Luck Favors the Bold, which is the one which allows me to do a second push,
Yep.
and re-roll all these other ones. So,
Okay. Is that an additional darkness point for yours truly?
yeah, it totally is. Oh,
Savage.
why did that go away?
It doesn't. Just add the d6. Just add another
Ah.
d6 from above and just roll it again.
Yeah.
You're going to roll it again anyway, so it won't matter.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Sorry, that did not work. No. No. God damn these! I hate these dice. What the hell? I might be going to physical dice.
I hear you.
Okay.
Can we be this vertical?
As you skip off the atmosphere. Poof. Continue into space. Okay, no, you spin the ship around and you dive into the atmosphere, coming in at a harder angle than you would prefer, but arrowing into the upper stratosphere of the planet. You can it's a bumpy ride, right? So everyone's getting thrown around. They're assumably all strapped down, but it's certainly not your best moment. Can I get an observation roll from you, Africa, as you enter the upper atmosphere? Oh, is
Oh,
it
God.
who else is sort of sitting at the front? Because
It's probably going to be me,
it's probably going to be
That
you.
makes sense.
Okay,
because
alright.
I was the one that was plotting stuff.
That's true. Yep. I'll give you an observation roll as well.
So, observation. Oh, look, I've got a point in that, and I just happen to have some wits.
Yeah.
What the?
No! Here comes another darkness point.
Oh man.
I'm getting out my actual dice. Jeez.
Ah, 2 successes from the actual.
Jeez.
So you got another darkness point and 2 successes.
All right.
Watch out for that massive stuff up ahead.
So
It's got tentacles.
So you look out. That's right. You look out just in time to see this large creature, which has got giant gas sacs holding it suspended. It's about the size of a small whale. So it's a good solid 15 to 20 meters, sort of in length. It's humongous, actually. It's not a small whale. It's a very big whale. It's in the form of a giant sort of floating sack. It doesn't look dissimilar to a sort of jellyfish in the air, except that the whole body shape sort of points up and has got this sort of big bulbous top, like it's fungal almost, like a sort of the mushroom hood coming out.
Okay.
Underneath it, dangling, are all these giant tentacles. However, when it sights you, you see it suddenly expelling, like the body shape changes. The top sort of crunches in and sort of jets towards you. So it's actually propelling itself, and you see that its
This
body,
is bad.
the sides of the creature sort of flatten out a bit and give it a bit of glide. So basically it's falling towards you with this acceleration being pushed on by this gas as it sighted you as possible prey.
We got company. Lose it.
This is why you don't want ornithopters. They look tasty.
And the creature is arrowing towards you out of the darkness. Would you see?
Let's
That's
go
I don't know.
lower.
I don't know what you guys are complaining about. Look at that. I had a perfect roll.
Wow.
That's horse shit.
Yay! We're rolling crap and the DM's rolling well on a death world, and he's stocked up with darkness points.
All right. So the creature punches out the gas and then it's flattened its body, and it arrows towards you, and it's smashing down towards you, and its
Evasive maneuvers.
tentacles are reaching out towards you as it wings in your general direction. Afrika, do you want to try and pull, sort of a 360 or a loop-de-loop or something?
Hell yes. Serious
I've
evasive maneuvers.
I'm going to aid you by spotting for you as well, because I've got pilot.
Okay, so you can get 1 bonus dice for Rob's aiding
Right.
of you.
I'm using real dice.
Okay, wow. Already. Jeez.
I'm really... I'm like...
You'll get no successes for that, won't you? Yes! That'll teach you. Sorry. Oh, no, that's bad. Bad, Tom. Sorry.
Bad GM.
Bad GM.
Oh, you
All right.
can have another darkness point. I'm going to
Wow,
push
I'm
that.
just... I burnt 2 to summon the creature, so if that makes you feel better.
They just
That does
keep
not
coming,
make us
huh?
feel better, because now we're getting you more darkness points to fuck the
No! This is
Game
ridiculous!
over, man. It's game
Game
over.
over.
And the campaign
At least
ended.
we're not panicking.
This game is
I'd be
it's gonna be
rolling
dead in the water.
7 dice and getting 0 successes.
I just want to say I
You
feel
haven't
really
played
proud
Alien,
of
have
it.
you?
It's a good thing that I'm sharing my homebrew rules with other people so that they can get some use out of them. Okay. All right. The creature arrows towards you. You try and wrench the plane out of the way. However, the ornithopter out of the way. However, you're unable to do so, and you feel 2 of the tentacles grab the outside of the ship and wrap themselves around the ship and start pulling it in towards the body of the creature. You
Alright,
no
you
longer
guys-
have motile force. What do you want to do?
Somebody
Scream.
better start shooting this thing. Open the door.
Yeah, that's
Start
right.
shooting it.
Did
Alright.
anyone bring a las gun? Because we have a spare shield we can throw at it.
Oh my god. All right, on it. I go out.
Well, no, you're at the front seat. Oi, Swordsmaster,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Swordmaster,
Yeah, I was gonna
you
say
do.
actually, I could go and shoot.
No, you
That
can
would
cut the,
be
tent-
your
cut the tentacles
job.
off. Cut the tentacles off.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll just jump out, right?
Did you say you just jump out?
You may need to hold on to the ornithopter when you do that.
Yeah.
You're in the upper atmosphere, just to remind you. You're in the upper atmosphere.
We all have
Yeah.
respirators, so that's
You do,
okay, but
so you can
need
breathe.
to-
Yep.
Yeah, I
I'll
would
just
pass
make
out.
sure you're tied in. I'll just make sure you're like.
Yeah.
So you're going to swing the
Yeah.
door. So describe what you're doing.
Drax.
I actually am not sure what at the plan. So, what does the ornithopter come with? Any machinery mounted to it? I'm assuming not.
No.
Yeah, okay, it was a long shot, but maybe you know.
Are you thinking
So we
your
don't
little
have-
gun shields might not hurt it? Is that what you're
Well, that's
saying?
what I'm worried about. Is that I'm worried that my little like pistols aren't going to do much against the 20
Well,
meter long.
there is an accelerator
fungus.
rifle in the back because the Mentat bought an accelerator rifle.
And you can bring my saber
You can
out
bring
with
your own
you.
accelerator rifle. That's mine.
I've got
I'm not
my-
lending it to you.
I do have a saber.
Okay.
Okay, well, use the freaking saber and chop some limbs off.
I guess I'll chop limbs off with my
You
saber.
have one job to do.
This doesn't seem safe. I'm just saying.
Wow.
For House Mollari.
For House Mollari, that's right. Okay, so the
Can I
Swordsmaster
make a command
hesitates,
roll
and
to get him
then
going?
it sounds like the Swordsmaster goes to put their shield guns on, and then looks outside,
No.
looks at the giant tentacles, and goes, mm-mm, and then gets a saber in a classic, of course, 40 leagues
Oh
under
my
the
God.
40,000
Rob,
leagues under the
Jesus.
sea, and
Yes, it is like that. Yes.
it is, yeah. You've even got the tentacle
Yeah,
creature
above the
attacking you, and they've got the person with the sword trying to chop them back. I don't know if anyone else remembers, but that didn't end well. Okay, you you leap across. Leap. Are you leaping onto the tentacle or doing anything crazy, or what are you doing?
You're still tied,
As
like I tied to the.
fun as that would be, I'm worried that our current dice rolls aren't going to support my survival if I didn't. If I try and jump out of the currently flying ornithopter.
Okay.
Go for the eyes, boo.
So it's wrapped around the ornithopter currently, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna stand inside the ornithopter and cut it from there, if that's okay.
He's holding onto a handle with one hand inside the hatch and chopping within
With
reach.
the other one.
Okay. So you're standing inside the ornithopter and you're swinging your sword out at the tentacles that are wrapped around it.
Yep.
Okay. Great. Roll your close combat skill plus the bonus for your saber, which should be.
Actually, that's a good question. What the bonus for my saber is? Where is that?
Funnily enough, my Coriolis book just opens to the weapons. I don't know why that is.
What kind of sword is my saber anyway?
Well,
it's actually
you can have a Dura sword, which is the vibrating sword.
equivalent.
Yeah.
So that's +1 bonus. It's actually it's in the homebrew rules.
Is it the pulse sword?
Yeah, the pulse sword.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'll take that. Yep.
Yep.
Just +1 bonus. So I go.
Chopper.
Wow, I'm up to 14 pages. That's insane.
How do I add a d6 to this? How do I get the
by
bonus
clicking
dice?
on the d6 above.
Oh yeah, I see. Right. There you go.
There you go. And then you're sitting roll.
I got 0 successes.
That's just. This is how I'm rolling.
All right. Would you like to push? Would you like
I don't know if I do want to push.
Well, I'll tell you what. You don't not
If
want
you
to
don't push, you'll be on.
I don't not want to push though.
No,
Exactly.
you do wanna push.
So yeah, I'll push. That gives me the extra d6, right?
Is it aligned to your drive?
Ooh, not really. So no.
Okay.
I just re-roll those 8
Yep.
dice again, then, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, 2
Yay.
successes.
Yay!
There you go.
All right,
thank
that's
God,
better.
we're not gonna
Nice
die.
dice.
All right. So how much damage is that from the pulse
It's-
sword?
The pulse sword is 2 damage, and so it's an extra 1 on top of that, so 3 damage.
What's the crit roll of a pulse sword?
Oh, actually, good point. It's 1, so I could crit.
Yeah, I know which I'd be choosing in the situation. Do you want to roll the crit, Natty?
I would love to roll the crit.
All right, do the double d. Just roll 1d6 and then another one, if that
I'm
makes
rolling-
sense. Yeah, because the first one's the 10s and the second one is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
13.
Right, not so impressive.
Not so impressive, no.
not so
It's in line with our current rolling, though. So.
It is completely in line.
Sprained wrist.
Yeah, we're consistent. That's for sure.
Weirdly, sprained wrist would be alright right now.
It's true. Sprained wrist would actually be quite acceptable, considering
Yes.
where you currently stand. 13. It is sprained wrist.
I know.
Drops held items.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so you
Nice.
you pull out your pulse sword, and with 2 hands, because it's really not sort of one-handed slashing at the moment, you slam it into the tentacle, and the creature goes, "Rah!" and its arm flies away from the tentacle, giving Africa the chance to maybe pull the
Punch it.
ornithopter out.
Punch it, Chewy.
Okay, are you
I'm
going to
gonna
use your
try to-
physical dice again, Jess, or are you going to?
No, I'm gonna try and roll this.
Okay.
Okay.
You might need to
clear
clear.
that.
Yep. Good. Okay.
Yep.
Yep. Cool.
Okay, come on, please.
Yes.
One success.
Every success is a
Yeah.
success, Jess. Okay, so because the second tentacle has been, released, and the creature is obviously in pain from the pulse sword that rips a great and mighty blow through its arm, you're able to drop the ornithopter out of the tentacle and arrow away deeper into the atmosphere below. The creature is not giving up, though. It is following you down into the lower levels, chasing you from behind.
Well, this is good to know that it can actually go lower than than its standard atmospheric level. This is
I'm
great. to
glad.
know.
glad
Your-
we had
the
you
map there.
along, Mentat.
Quick, record that.
Exactly. Make a note.
Yeah. Wow, I've never seen one of these things attack before. It's really fascinating. Okay. The creature is arrowing behind you. I'm going to I might just spend another darkness point.
Because you've got like what,
Jesus,
8
it's
in
got
reserve
right.
right now?
A billion.
A gazillion, I
One,
think is the.
1 million.
I think the
darkness
correct
points.
title is gazillion. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. Okay, it's going for you again. Ah, but now I'll spend a darkness point to reroll. Oh,
No, Cerise.
Yes.
Surely
What's
you
about
can.
a sprained tentacle?
that's right. Okay.
Can't your away team kind of like shoot them or something?
Oh, do you want to give them a command?
They're just sitting there, just holding on to
Yeah,
it.
they are. They're going, fuck, I hope this pilot's better than they seem. We should have bought our own pilot. That's what they're actually thinking. As you smash through space, the creature is writhing out towards you, but it hasn't been able to catch you. You can possibly pull away if you can roll another piloting roll successfully.
Okay, let's try this.
Do it. Do it.
Do it, do it, do it.
Do it again. But mean it this time.
Oh my god! This is
Oh,
so
have you been
crap.
adding me as an extra dice?
No.
Oh, add that
Add
one
one more
dice
and roll it.
and roll it.
It'll be a 6. Ah. All right.
All right. It's reaching out towards you again. You're arrowing through the atmosphere trying to get away. Is anyone doing anything to assist beyond yelling advice from the seat next
Were
to
you
the
going to
pilot?
re-roll it, Jess?
I'll
No,
re-
just one die.
I will
Well, for
re-roll it.
instance, does the person with the gun want to shoot?
Someone needs to shoot this thing at the back of the plane.
Yeah.
Isn't it the Mentat that has the gun?
Yes.
Yeah, but
I'm
the
not
two
letting you lose my gun.
but the two guys you brought on board have got guns.
Oh,
They do.
yeah.
Get them to.
I'll
That's
yell at
what I
them.
was
All
saying.
right.
Shoot
How
it.
about I'll give them the command to shoot it.
Well, actually,
One
the Swordsmaster
success.
can be very very good at teaching, at getting people to do things. Did you take the
Yes, I can.
did you take the to teach trait, Nat?
I think I did.
Did you?
Yes, I
take
did.
Okay, so do you want to use that? It'll cost you a dark.
Yeah, I
point.
will.
Why? What does that do?
Let me create a pool of dice that can be added to people's rolls.
Oh, nice.
For things
Uh,
that are explicitly tied to what you can train people in.
Yes. So I can't train people to be better at seeing the future, unfortunately, because I don't know how
Alright,
to do that.
let's get the guys a bit out there. Well, they don't really listen to me if I say go out there and do it from my command roll.
Well, it's lucky that I'm here.
Just do it.
What do I roll?
So you actually have to roll your command skill,
It's
and you
command plus insight, right?
but it's not 2 lots of stat, right? So it's either insight as the base or command as the base,
Mm.
plus the value of the other one. So, for instance, how many points in command have you got?
2,
And how many points of insight have you got?
1.
Okay, so you can add 3 dice
Mm.
to a stat, either wits or
Right.
empathy, and that becomes your and each success is part of your pool.
Right. Okay. So I will be rolling 6 dice then.
Okay, and I will take a darkness point.
Yep.
And yep,
Wait, forgot to
wait,
clear first.
Yep, do it.
Yep. There we go. 1 success.
One success. Okay, well that's 1 dice you can give someone. And
1
just-
extra dice.
So you can.
And I'm gonna command the 2, grunt soldiers to shoot the giant space squid.
Okay. We'll assume they've got 5 dice for shooting.
Yep.
Plus 1 dice for the accelerator rifle, so that's 6 dice.
Sure.
So and then you can add a 7th. You can add 1 more dice, which gives them 7 dice.
Yep. I'll roll that.
That's heaps.
Wait.
Do it, do it, do it.
Oh, come on.
Do it.
And
Oh my
nothing.
god.
I didn't even
What?
get above a 3.
I don't think if you add them all up, you hit 6.
I don't think. My God.
Okay. You
I got
blast.
4
You're
2s and 3 3s on 7 dice.
okay.
Embarrassing.
They're blazing away. with their weapons, but they're obviously quite terrified by the size of the creature that's arrowing behind you.
What do we pay these guys for? Jesus Christ.
I
The
know.
thing's
At
the
least
size
I
of a
got
building and they can't even...
1 6. I got 1 6 on my piloting roll. We
Okay.
can get away from it.
I get to roll now.
Hey, these are my guys you're talking about here.
They're pathetic.
Why?
Oh.
Well,
Nothing
maybe you're
personal,
not
eh?
issuing the orders right to them.
You tried to order them. How will that go?
They're scared.
Okay.
This thing's giant.
You'll be glad to know I am actually burning through my darkness points now. Okay, the creature reaches out towards you. You've dropped right down. You're actually flying now sort of just above the canopy of the jungle. So you're sort of a couple of 100 meters above the canopy of the jungle.
Yeah, good, good.
Fallen right down through the layers. The creature is arrowing along behind you, still seeking to grab you, but it's actually having trouble now holding itself above. So it's used up a lot of its gas sac for propulsion.
Yeah, cool. So if we
So-
pull up, it should be.
Yeah, it'll find it harder. That's true, yes. It will find it harder to accelerate up. Like, its whole strategy is to arrow down on someone. Like, it falls as much as it flies, right? So, you can make one more piloting roll, and if you get enough successes, you'll just pull away.
Do it, do it, do it.
This is going to happen. Do you want to roll for the guys again? This time they only get 6 dice.
Yep. One success.
Okay. Which is lucky.
Ah,
No, so the guys are shooting it now with the accelerator rifles. Blam, 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 blam. As the swordsmaster yelling, shoot them! Fuck, it's the size of a freaking barn. How hard can it be? They're blazing away from the back of the ship and puncturing the hide of the creature and driving it away from you.
Yes.
You pull up, and whilst your piloting rolls not in any way great, you're able to sort of fly up and away because it's now struggling. It's actually starting to lift because it's getting too close to canopy and it doesn't want to get into the weeds, as it were, because that's a bad place for it to land. So it starts to slow down and starts to try and reinflate its gas sac before it actually crashes into the trees. Pump. That's exactly right.
Don't you flood the engine?
If it works on a duck, it'll work on a fungal creature. Okay. Tom, I'll have to share. I think it's on YouTube. I'll have to share the video of me pumping a duck for Peking duck one day. It's hilarious.
You will definitely have to do
The
that.
duck actually springs a leak, and so at the end of the video, all you can hear is the duck going. Fucking hilarious.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. All right, the creature pulls away from you, and you find yourselves finally flying over the canopy towards your rendezvous point, towards your landing point. The canopy itself is completely impenetrable, right? Like, it's just the top of a rainforest. So all the trees have spread out and taken over every bit of available light that they can. So they're massive, broad, and interwoven. Cerise, make an observation roll just while you're flying over the top.
Uh-huh.
You don't feel a sense of danger with this observation roll, if that makes you feel better.
Oh, maybe. Oh, one success.
All right, so you see various things at the top of the canopy sort of looking at you. And a lot of them look like sort of slugs or leeches.
Oh,
So-
okay. I've heard about these leeches.
Yeah.
So-
So exactly.
Let me-
Don't land here.
no.
No. They were just looking up at us.
Right.
It's like those guys suck. Don't land there.
You'll have to reduce it, sorry. So creatures like this.
Ew.
Jesus Christ, how big are they?
It depends. They come in almost every variation of size.
There's an iPhone
What's
to
the
scale in the picture. You
I
just
was
can't
about to say,
see
what's the upper limit
The Mentat could check their data for
No,
you.
you've got enough darkness points, Jim.
Just
Nice.
saying, it's an option. Okay, I burnt through a few chasing you with the creature. I just want to make that clear. It wasn't, without cost.
Okay.
I did a few
Right,
rerolls
yeah.
myself there. That was costly. But so you see creatures like that, right? And they basically just follow you, and they don't have eyes, but you can feel them watching you as you fly over, as they twist their bodies towards you. At one point, you see one of these as well. These things kind of hang around the top of the canopy, and you see them attack. Like you see one or two of them attacking the leeches and lifting them away.
That's good.
Okay.
So they're quite small and not small, smaller than the ornithopter.
Good.
Marginally smaller or significantly smaller?
They're
That's some
about
good news. Is that
they're about person sized.
Okay.
And they do have wings, but you can tell that body section is somewhat like you can see it moving. Like they're doing the same inflation thing that the big thing that just followed you, right? So that's how they're actually getting lift, and then the wings seem mostly to push them forward.
Yeah.
All right. I'm already thinking about defenses that we can actually develop against these things. My technology part's going overdrive.
Yeah.
Nice.
You come in over the top of the canopy, you see just an endless sea of green, and then suddenly the trees stop when you hit the water's edge, like you're falling off the side of the cliff. By the way, the trees grow like several hundred meters. Or at least the jungle's several hundred meters tall. As you go down the side of the trees and onto the water, because you're trying to hug the edge of the thing, right? Because you're trying to hide that you're here. Everyone can make a sort of observation roll. Because you're going down the side of the jungle.
We all get to do observation.
Yeah, you're all kind of looking out portals and other things.
Okay, this is good.
That's one success. Yeah.
I can do this. I can do this.
Ooh.
I got
One,
two.
I got one success. That's all I want.
You got two. I wonder
I
what we
rolled how many dice
I
for
got
my
two.
pilot skills?
I got two as well.
Nothing.
You just got
two
one.
for-
No,
you
that's happy enough.
you get two to see shit while you're just flying around. That's hilarious.
I got two as well.
Okay, so those people who got one, did anyone get one?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got one.
Okay, so you both note that the trees are growing on trees. So basically, it's like a forest on top of a forest. Like, so plants are growing on top of each other. So there's like roots and other things just hanging in space and air. The trees themselves are packed full of life. Everything is moving and alive, right? Even the sessile plants, so the ones that don't actually move around, are shift and move as you fly past them. They just can't walk around. So everything moves. So it's like watching. So as your ship comes down, it's like hitting the pond with the stone, right? You see the ripples. The trees nearest the ornithopter sort of move away from the ornithopter or shuffle or push back against the ornithopter.
Good.
And then the other trees sort of are hit by that cascade, and it's like you're watching a ripple run along the side of the forest. And you can see creatures, like smaller things, mostly leech forms, falling from trees and grabbing onto things, and you see other things moving in the deeper sections of the forest, because you're looking at the exposed edge, not the deeper section of the forest, that are significantly larger moving around. Those people who got two successes, at one point as you're going down the side, you see what you think is a person.
This is bad.
standing on a branch watching the ornithopter go down. They're green, so they appear green. They look green. You're not sure if that's actually what color what skin color they have, or whether it's what they've done to themselves. But they look distinctly green for just the second that you see them, because you're moving at some speed. They're green, and they're watching you. They're basically completely naked. They've got no armor, no particular clothing, and they're carrying something on their shoulder. It looks not dissimilar to some sort of pack or something. And then you're gone, right? So then that's the moment you see them, and then you zip off over the water. Do you want to deviate from your plan, or is the plan still to land where you were going to land?
Tribes are gonna come and waste us if we land here. You know it, right?
Maybe they're friendly.
Maybe.
Do we have anything to trade with them?
Fungal infection, attacks by the infamous leeches of Akaz, and the ever-present risk of attacks by the human tribes.
Yeah, so we might...
Look, when you frame it that way.
We might go a little further out then.
All right.
Into the ocean.
So go to where you're going to land, basically, where you've chosen to land anyway, at least to set up shop.
Yeah.
Okay, so you arrow over the ocean. You see forms in the ocean. Once again, giant leech forms. They look like giant undulating sort of leech forms moving through what is basically an algae-dense ocean. So it's like, it's like Lake Burley Griffin most days, actually. But, but basically,
you don't want to swim in it.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to swim in it. But basically, it's a green ocean because there's algal bloom everywhere. Right?
Yeah.
And there's things moving through the algae, right? Harvesting it and feeding on it. And you see little forms and bigger forms moving through the water. But they're all moving quite slowly. They're not moving rapidly. Like, they're not like the thing that tried to attack the ornithopter, right? Which was super fast. These things move incredibly slowly and just sort of almost drift through the ocean, just feeding. You come up towards your island, the stony outcrop, which is to yet uncolonized by plant life, which means it's very recent. It may even be volcanic right now. Probably is volcanic, actually. That's probably what it is. So it's a volcanic island, black rock and other things on it, and you can still have there's still lava flowing off the island. And you find yourselves location, I assume, on the island, where you can land. That's away from the lava.
Thermoelectric power, excellent.
Yes, true that.
Always.
So, so your next, what do you want to do next? Do you want to sort of explore the island and start working out how you're going to set up shop? Do you want to get some, is that the plan, I guess, is the question? Or do you want to do something else, like now you've landed, do you want to try and make your way into the jungle or get towards the jungle?
We need to get to civilization, right? Right, we can't
I'm
do
kind of like,
here.
we have to know I have to know what's on this island, like...
Right. We need to know what's on the island first.
Reconnoiter, secure the ship. Yeah.
All right.
And steady our nerves after terrible landing.
That was a terrible landing, I'm not going to lie to you.
It wasn't great.
No. Maybe you could spend some of those XP on improving your polling skills. Africa. Although I don't think 10 dice would have helped you. I'm just gonna I've got 10 dice and it's
bad rolls.
Just bad rolls, that's right.
We're lucky.
So freaking lucky.
I love that. All right, so what we'll do then, because it's after 10 o'clock, It's 10 past 10, so we'll call it there. It's a good place to
good
stop.
time, good place to wrap it.
So you guys have landed the Ornithopter on the island. You're going to explore the island to work out what you're going to do. And what will be your action after you've explored the island? Will it be to try and go and find one of the trading points so that you can get involved in that action?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, agree. We need to make connections.
Correct.
All right. What do people think?
Yes, good.
What do you think of the interface other than the inability to roll dice, obviously?
No, that's pretty cool. Now
The
they've got
ability
used
to
to it.
roll sixes is freaking heck. It's killing us. No, it's good. It's good. Now I'm getting my way around it.
And how did you find? Did you like? Is the council thing going to work for you guys? Like the whole sort of, what do we want to do now?
No, that works really well.
Yeah.
It felt like we were advisors to the dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, I thought that was great.
All right, cool. Well, same bat channel, same bat time, a fortnight from now. I'll just
Sounds good.
stop